Oh, hi, Blaze,
Oh, hi, Henno.
and welcome to the second pod of Christmas of the 12 pods of Christmas.
Oh, exciting.
And today we're doing, so on the second pod of Christmas,
What did your true love bring to you?
a movie that everybody loves.
Aw.
Yeah, we're talking about Elf.
Yaw.
No, I should clarify, when I say what everyone loves, I like this movie.
It's a great movie.
I like this movie. No, in fairness, I copped a little bit of shit from you and a few of our co-workers. I had never seen this movie until 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
It just never happened for me. I just never sat down and watched it.
I mean, I will say when I say it's a great movie, I do put Christmas movies on a separate grading scale to normal movies.
So it's a great Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you're working within this constraints of you have to do Christmassy things,
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that is going to be cringe by the nature of it.
But it's just required.
So, where that would lose points in other movies, you sort of give it a pass in the Christmas movie.
Look, I mean, this is the thing. I definitely didn't hate the film. It's got stuff in it that I love. I mean, I love Will Ferrell.
Yep.
My issue with this movie is this is Will Ferrell being peak. If I yell loudly and do wacky things, people will laugh at me kind of humour.
It is, but
That's not a bad thing,
Yeah.
necessarily. I mean, he's supposed to portray a very childlike naivety in this movie.
it is peak him doing that, but it is also I'm going to say the best version of him doing that.
This is fair. Yeah. I mean, that's very true. Oh, is it? Talladega Nights, I reckon, is the best version of him doing that. That's my opinion anyway. That's just how I feel. But no, that's all right. It is okay, but at times you can do too much of it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel in this movie, it's a sort of film where you would go, he's going to start to grow up at some point, or he's going to come to the realization that he's in the real world. He needs to change as well as, the overbearing father he never knew needs to change.
Yeah, but he also knows that Santa and all that is real.
That's true.
It's not like he's coming to a real world where those fantasy elements don't exist.
This is fair. Yeah. No, that's okay. I can get that. Yeah. It's an interesting premise. It is quite an entertaining premise. I do like it. It's the scenes I found hilarious is just the straight-faced his elf dad at the start of the movie, like just treating him like he's one of them, but it's so deadpan talking about how everything went without discussing how ridiculous the scenario is.
Yep.
I actually found that hysterical.
So, for quick plot synopsis,
Yeah.
basically what happens, young orphan child manages to hitch a ride on Santa's sleigh to get to the North Pole as a baby, is then raised by elves as an elf.
Yep.
Doesn't find out until he is fully grown that he is not an elf, he is in fact a human.
Yes.
When Santa advises him of this and tells him where to find his father as his one remaining parent, he also advises that his father is on the naughty list. And sends Buddy, our main character, to go see his father and try and help him redeem his ways.
Yeah.
Hijinks ensue. Christmas.
It is. There are parts of it that are genuinely funny. I mean, some of it that also, I don't know that you could get away with the humour these days. There is the scene in which Peter Dinklage turns up as the gifted children's book author, and the entire scene is just, it's not done as an insulting thing, but it's just making jokes about the fact that he has dwarfism.
Yep.
Which is clearly very sensitive about this character, and it ends up in a fist fight. It's just because Buddy the elf doesn't understand, or Buddy the human doesn't understand that it's not a Santa's elf.
Yep.
He's just got dwarfism. And I know that they get away with doing that these days.
But in a world where Santa's elves exist, would that then raise speculation that maybe he was part elf?
Well, it could be.
Yeah.
Look at that. Oh, geez, now we're getting deep into
Some
it.
secret affairs elves have snuck out of the North Pole and banged out some kids.
Yeah. I mean, what else does it have? This movie's got Zoe Deschanel in it.
Yep.
So I can always get behind a movie that's got Zoe Deschanel in it.
Iconic manic pixie dream girl.
See, when I was preparing to talk about this, knew you were going to say that. Because she is the archetype of the manic
she
pixie.
is the manic iconic pixie dream girl.
Yeah, that's right. A role she plays in, well, most of what she does. I mean, I first saw her in Almost Famous, and she does not play that role. But then you've got her in New Girl, you've got her in 500 Days of Summer, you've got her in, was it Yes Man?
Yep.
Jim Carrey. She's kind of flighty, wacky, doesn't conform to everything, but very pretty, obviously, and talented at something. Yeah. She's Zoe Deschanel. She
makes it work.
I can't say anything bad about her. It's just, this one who I was not expecting in a movie like this is James Caan, who'd been in The Godfather and all sorts of movies, just playing the dad, and he's kind of playing a straight man. Yeah, he's kind of not at the same time. He sort of gets drawn into the wackiness of it a little bit.
He does. At first, he's a bit standoffish. He doesn't believe it when this man dressed as an elf comes and announces as his child, but then goes and names drop a name that no one else should know.
Yes, the mother. Mom. Yeah. And directed by, and I said to you before I was going to manage to do this, directed by Jon Favreau, who we have discussed in length as the original director of the MCU. Yep. This was the movie that allowed him to do Iron Man. This movie is, and I will say, is beloved by so many people. And if you were of a certain age when this movie came out, I completely understand why you love it. Because nostalgia-wise, it's brilliant. It's good movie in that way. It came out 2003, so I would have been 18. Yep. Just that bit too old to have cared about it. But I reckon if I'd been, say, 5 years older, I probably would have watched it just out of interest. Because that was when I really started to explore.
So just that too much into the edgy teen phase.
I was never an edgy teen. Jesus Christ. I don't ever want it suggested that I was an edgy teen. I have said to you before, and you know this about me, I am an exceedingly boring human being. I didn't have that phase.
My headcanon has you with the goth.
I never.
Fringe.
No, Jesus Christ. The hairstyle I've got now, despite the fact that this is grayer than it was, this is what I had when I was 18. I have never changed. It's just that. But I know people who adore this film.
Yeah.
So it was co-workers that basically called me out for having not seen it. And I'm like, I guess I'll watch it then. So I literally, 2 nights later, sat down and, like I said, didn't hate it. It wasn't like I was going to turn it off because it was terrible. I get Will Ferrell. The scene that it was too far for me is he's making himself dinner and he makes spaghetti. No, it's breakfast, and he makes spaghetti and then he pours maple syrup, M&Ms, marshmallows, just sugar all over it, which we reveal that he believes sugar is one of the food groups. It's when he starts eating it with his hands, and I go, we've seen you before, you know how cutlery works. Yep. You're doing this now for shock factor. And I went, this is where Will Ferrell has that habit of going too far.
Too much cringe.
Yes, yeah. But it's not even like he's doing it at the table having dinner with the family. He's sitting by himself. Yep. Like, who's this for? If that was done the night before at the dinner table, that joke makes more sense.
Yep. Instead, all you get that one is him
sitting at a table being gross,
necking an entire bottle of Pepsi.
That's true. Actually, that is quite funny. I did like that scene. No, like I say, I can't say this is a bad film. I did enjoy it. I could probably enjoy it more on rewatch, I'd say. Would be my thing, The whole premise of, which I did kind of like, the idea that Santa's sleigh is supposed to be powered by the
Christmas
belief
spirit.
of him ending Christmas spirit, but that they've had to revert to a mechanical means just in case, because people have stopped having Christmas spirit.
Yep.
And that ends up with him crashing conveniently in Central Park, right near where Buddy the Elf is, who just happens to know how to fix the sleigh.
He needs an elf's help
Yeah. Needs an elf's help, and
before the arrival of the Central Park Rangers.
when they appear on the hillside with the light behind them and they're just in black silhouette, I don't know why I thought they just look like the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. And I'm assuming that was the intent.
I think that's the motif they're going for.
But like, there's nothing leading to that. It's a thing where I went, oh, that's kind of funny. They look like the Four Horsemen. There's no payoff to that.
Yeah.
They just kind of look like that for a scene, and then they come riding in on their horses.
That's there to add some tension. We need to get down there before these guys arrive.
Central Park Rangers are evil for some reason. But, so this is, I mean, if we're going to go, because I mentioned genre for the Jingle All the Way episode, this one is fish out of water, I think is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
So it's a fish out of water comedy, but
Absolutely.
it's billed directly as a Christmas movie. This isn't, some of the movies we'll talk about are incidentally Christmas movies.
Yeah. Stranger in a Strange Land.
Correct, yeah. So it's, from that capacity, it's great. It's definitely got its moments. It's got its hilarity. Some of the scenes are just genuinely funny. Just a scene where he just sits and eats cotton balls for no reason, because he obviously thinks it's fairy floss or something.
When he freaks out at the false Santa.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
You sit on a throne of lies.
But even how he sets up the entire store in a single night.
Yep.
As
The
a
shop manager. Someone from corporate centre professional.
That's right. Yeah. So no, I'll say it's not a bad film. But you got any other thoughts? Because as I said, we're keeping these short. Any other thoughts before we move on?
No.
No. I mean, it's a movie.
It does have the same sort of through line that Jingle All the Way had. That it's the dad that works too hard.
Yes.
Who needs to connect with his family.
Yep.
That is a very common theme in Christmas movies.
It is very much a common theme, yes. No, it's I mean, if you're talking, I'm even thinking about it. If you're talking Die Hard, he's separated from his wife because he works too hard.
Yeah.
That's why he's in a different city at the time. I have never even thought about that. That's brilliant. All right. I've got nothing else. Again, when we talk about recommendations, absolutely. I haven't introduced Chels to this one, but it's one I think I'll sit down with her and have a watch.
Add this to your Christmas playlist.
Definitely. Yes, this one belongs there. I will not say the same things I said about Jingle All the Way, because I don't feel that way about this movie. I quite enjoyed this. So, all right. So that is the second part of Christmas. What are we going to be doing next?
National Vacation.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yep.
All right. Which I haven't technically finished watching, but I've watched plenty of times before. So I think we'll be able to chat about that.
I haven't watched recently.
There's enough of it that I think when we get into it, you'll remember. It's fine.
I'll let you do most of the talking.
I do most of the talking anyway, so that's all
Yep.
right. Anyway, all
Does
right.
it look pretty?
Yes, that is your job. That's been your role. We've always discussed on this podcast. You're the pretty one.
I am the sex appeal.
Oh, don't do that.
We'll cut that.
We'll go. If I had any say as to what was cut or not, I would not be cutting that.
Patreon exclusive.
Patreon exclusive, yeah. That'll be an outtake on the TikTok. Thanks again, everyone, for listening. I hope you're enjoying the 12 Pods of Christmas. This one, come out, and then we'll be moving on to number 3.
Yep.
So,
Bye-bye.
bye. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas to you all. Thanks for listening to our second pod of Christmas. As usual, you can find us on a variety of platforms, as well as on most of the good social media. Remember to contact us at breakdowntheuniverse@gmail.com to suggest topics or ask questions about previous episodes. From Blaze and Henno, have a happy holiday season.